Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the United States of America really opened the season for plundering the globe. You can call it differently if you want, but I call it this way based on the evidence I can find around. And how do I do it? If I say that I dislike injustice, well, that means I like injustice in general. That is, wherever I see it, I dislike it. But when I dislike injustice done to this guy, but I don't care about the injustice done to this guy, or I even promote injustice done with this guy, that means what I said about disliking injustice is a lie. Or at least I'm a hypocrite, or something negative. So, the United States of America attacked a vessel, according to the American military, a vessel leaving Venezuela. Why? Because, and they always is for good intentions, we fight the war on drugs now. But somehow we fight only the drugs war or the war on drugs in Venezuela. Nowhere else. We don't like the drugs pouring into the United States of America, do we? No, we don't. But somehow we care about that more than, let's say, the drugs pouring in from, let's say, oh yeah, Mexico. But I will explain why Mexico is A-okay, but Venezuela is not. It has to do with who's in charge of Mexico and who's in charge of Venezuela, and with a little small detail. Oil. So, who knew about these strikes made a fortune. I think that's all that it is. It's making a fortune. Let me show you. American navies, I think they have about 8 vessels over there, military vessels, warships, the Americans, sent from America to the Venezuelan coast to fight the drugs, okay? But no, drugs from other countries we don't send our navy over there, only to Venezuela. The other countries don't have oil, okay? And they have Mr. Blumenberg, whatever his name is, in charge of, let's say, Mexico. So let's start with the attack. Let's start with what Maduro, the president of Venezuela, has to say. Let's start with the Russians, and we're gonna put this together with the attacks on Russian oil and gas in Russia by the Ukrainians. Ready? All right, let's start with the first one. Trump says U.S. has carried out strike against drug-carrying vessel that left from Venezuela. Right? Trump says U.S. carried out strike, departing. Why they pick this one? All have the same title, but they changed the title to something else. And I'm gonna, carry which one you want me to carry. The Boston Globe? All right. They're all gonna have this title right here. I'm gonna show you again. Go back here. Well, let's get Newsday. They all changed the title in this one. I think it looks better than the other one, it seems like. Trump says, so Trump, you can trust Trump. Trump is the chief executor in the government. He's the government, and government never lies to you. So whatever they say, you should believe. Right? No. That's the first rule is don't trust the government. Ever. Right? So they told you about the Gulf of Tonkin. Remember the Gulf of Tonkin? And I'm going to show you some maps. By Vietnam. That's how the Americans got involved in Vietnam. We were attacked, man. We had our navy over there. We were just looking around and nothing happened. But the guys from Vietnam attacked us in the Gulf of Tonkin. It was a lie. So now these guys say we just destroyed a drug vessel. Excellent. If that was a drug vessel, I'm all for it. Who says that? You say that? You have zero credibility. You're negative credibility, not zero, negative. I want other sources. There's no other sources. Why? Because only the American says, we destroy a vessel. And in the vessel, it was full of drugs, man. That's what it was. We tell you, trust us. I don't trust you. And nevertheless, this is what he says. All right, Washington, President Donald Trump. That's September 2nd. said that Tuesday that U.S. has carried out a strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug-carrying vessel. He says that departed from Venezuela and was operated by the Tren de Aragua gang. The president says 11 were killed in the operation. Well, excellent, excellent. And the strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States of America. All right, no U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs to the United States of America. Mexico, next door. How about that one? And let's go to that little map over here and take a look at that. So, this is the United States of America. And I'm not going to show you. Oh, no, we don't want that. Jesus Christ. We can use this one. What the hell? It's the same thing. It's just right there. We're going to go back. So, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled by, Alaska or Honolulu, Hawaii, United States of America, mainland right here, right? And then you have right here in Venezuela, right there. Well, they could have stopped it right here because that's mainly where it goes to, right here. No, they came right here, right? Do you think that these guys in Guyana or Suriname or other countries right here, or maybe on the other, Ecuador, or I don't know, Colombia, which also comes over here, they don't have drugs, they don't send drugs as of America? No, they do that, they do, but Venezuela has oil. What's going on? Let me show you. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world. As of recent estimates, Venezuela's oil reserves are approximately 303 billion barrels, primarily located in the Orinoco Belt. This region is known for its heavy crude oil, which possesses challenges for extraction and refining. Nevertheless, right here, oil reserves of Venezuela. The proven oil reserves in Venezuela are recognized as the largest in the world. Now you understand a little bit why he doesn't want any, any drugs, only from Venezuela. That's it. He is protecting us. Yes. And he destroyed that vessel. Now, how do I know that vessel was not, a military vessel? How do I know that it was not an oil rig? Let's say an oil tanker. Venezuela sent oil, let's say, to Europe or wherever you want. How do I know that? I will not know, because they will tell you whatever they want, and they lie. All right, let's put it directly. All right, let's move on. What Venezuela does? Here. Trump says U.S. forces shot drug-carrying boat that left Venezuela. So you got the Venezuela, bad actors, drug-carrying boat from there. That means Venezuela obviously needs to be taught a lesson. Trump says UK killing 11. Where they got when? That one. U.S. military conducted a lethal strike on alleged, thank you very much, drug vessel in southern Caribbean, Rubio said. They can say whatever they want. I don't believe them. Why am I doing this? If I don't believe them, because they will start a war. In the name of good, to protect you. But oil price jumps, that particular country, and that's the only reason. The only reason is that Maduro doesn't give the American or the multinational oil. Remember, that's oil and gas interest free reign in Venezuela. Remember, there's 3 big profiteers in the West. They try to get over the globe. That's why Russia is over there, China, India, they make common front. And that is international banking system. Second one is the military industrial complex, arm manufacturing companies. And third one is these guys with oil, gas, and all that, with the resources. Without resources, you don't move. You die. You need fire to heat up something or to heat yourself, right? So just to start with that one, without energy, you don't build, you don't make anything. So do you think that Trump is doing that, or he's just protecting us? Or both, to be nice? All right, let's see what Maduro has to say. How many vessels are over there, and how many weapons, according to Maduro? Agence France Press. Maduro says United States warships, plural, with 1,200 missiles targeting Venezuela. No. But I tell you what the narrative is. You help the drugs in your country instead of destroying them. You allow them to exist, and they destroy our society by shipping drugs into our country. Therefore, you're a bad guy. Therefore, you have to go right there. And we're going to make you go, man. We're going to make you go. Right there. 8 U.S. military vessels, according to Nicolas Maduro, with 1,200 missiles were targeting his country, which he declared to be in the state of maximum readiness to defend itself. Let me tell you about that maximum readiness of defending yourself. First, what's been tried here is the regime change in Venezuela. That's what it is. So how do you do it? You try various ways. First, you try with democracy. Supposedly, you got that guy, I can't remember his name. He was a CIA asset, if I remember correctly. They tried with another one, won the presidency, not recognized. Anyway, they tried like that. Then they tried with NGOs. Then they tried with some militias. And they all fell. They didn't succeed. So one way to do it is either just go and find a pretext, like in Vietnam, and attack and destroy. Or you make them kill them one another. And that's the way I think these guys are doing it. And that's the way you do it. It's textbook. It's not a genius Emil. It's textbook overthrowing governments. And they do it like this. And I'm going to give you an example. Do you remember the First World War? The Russian Empire. What happened? Obviously, it was a class society, right? And it was the nobility and it was the peasants living in very, very bad situation. They didn't have weapons. When the war broke out, then they had to defend themselves, the nobility, the Tsar and all these guys. So they gave weapons to the peasants, to the military. They made military from the peasantry. And they gave them weapons. And then what happened? They didn't want to fight for the Tsar anymore. They demanded this rights, that and this, and agrarian reform and all that. And that's how it precipitated itself to the first Russian Revolution, which was then, with the same people with weapons, hijacked by the Bolshevik Revolution. All right, that's how it occurred. So what do? You arm and you put them in readiness for a war. And in the Venezuelan military, I guarantee you, there are some generals and colonels and others who already are on the payroll of CIA. And once they have the military with ready and positions maybe with the armament, with the munition in the barrel, let's put it that way, then they can overthrow the government. They just move a few columns, boom, to Caracas, surround Maduro's palace, get him, kill him, and that's it. Done. That's the way they will do it. And once that happens, is they call it civil war. And in a civil war, the Americans will help the forces of democracy. They will win, right? Being closer, the Chinese and the Russians, I don't know if they will have time to react and they could intervene. And then Venezuela will become a democracy, like Iraq. And we plunder it. It's not we. It's American energy interest. That's it. And the weapons will be poured over there. We're going to bring democracy. We're going to reconstruct all the garbage that occurred in before. We've seen this movie before. You got it? So that's very risky. But what can he do for Maduro to arm the... remember, when you are in a state of emergency like this, all right, maximum readiness, that means you have units with armament already there. You have tanks ready, you have airplanes ready, you have people ready with magazines ready, with real weapons, with real whatever you got, ammunition and whatever you got. These guys are just waiting for a signal to fulfill the coordinated plan already determined before from the United States of America. You will see. I hope it doesn't happen, but I think that's the way it goes. The first one. Second one, Maduro says Venezuela are ready to respond to U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, and the Americans can fake a false flag operation in the Caribbean, and they will say, as they said in the Gulf of Tonkin, we've been attacked by the Vietnamese. We have to attack. That's a declaration of war. That's it. And they will attack. And who's going to give you this information? The American military. Who else? I mean, if it's in the high seas over there, it's in the Caribbean, you have a vessel, it's going to be an explosion, like, for instance, the Pentagon. Remember September 11th, the airplane hitting the Pentagon? Okay, remember that one? Well, it was an airplane, right? Yeah, it was an airplane. The same here. They're going to show you a vessel hit with a missile or with something, and that was Venezuelan missile because they say so. The guys in Venezuela will say, no, that's not true. Who's going to have time to listen to them? They are the bad dudes already. Got that? All right. A false flag operation will solve this problem. There you go here again. Maduro ready to declare republic in arms if U.S. forces attack Venezuela. What does it mean, republic in arms? Huh? Right here. The U.S. has deployed military forces to the Caribbean in an operation set to target Latin American drug cartels. No, to Venezuela, not to the Caribbean in general. It's Venezuela that's targeted, my friends. You see how they make it? I mean, who would deny this? That's a noble fight against the drug cartels, correct? All right. Ready to defend a republic in arms. All right, let's go further. Venezuela thanks Russia's Zakharova for support amid U.S. threats. So Russia said, we are going to defend, we're going to, we support you, but in what way? Let's see. The Venezuelan government has expressed gratitude to Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova for her statement on the movement of U.S. warships in the Caribbean Sea, Venezuelan Foreign Minister said on Saturday. In August, Venezuelan President Maduro mobilized the country's militias. You know what militias are? Right. Amid reports that the U.S. Navy sent, that means arming the population, sent several ships off the coast of Venezuela to deter drug trafficking. So it's the coast of Venezuela. No, it's in Caribbean. The deployment came after the U.S. Justice Department offered a $50 million reward for tips leading to Maduro's capture or killing. This is like the Wild West, whom the U.S. accuses of leading cartel de los Soles. Zakharova said on Friday that Russia resolutely does not accept the threat of using force against sovereign states as an instrument of foreign policy and expressed solidarity with the people and government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. No, this is what's going to be, my friends. This is what's going to be, my friends. They're going to make a narrative. They are the bad dudes. They attack us. We have to respond and defend ourselves and protect you, like Israel does over there with the Palestinians in Gaza. They protect all of us, our freedoms, for us, so we don't have to fight. These narratives are so baboonish that only, if you strive for doing some mental gymnastics, you can accept. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so let's see how these guys thanked the Russians. On behalf, and I'm quoting, on behalf of President Maduro, we express gratitude to Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova for the firm statement regarding the recent mobilization of U.S. warships in the Caribbean. The presence of nuclear submarines off our shores poses an unacceptable threat to Venezuela's sovereignty and to peace in our region. Now, do you remember when the Russians brought about 200,000 people, troops, on their territory, close to the border of Ukraine? Do you remember how the Americans and the Europeans reacted to that? And that was in Russia. Let me show you. That was not in the Caribbean, that was in Russia. So let me show you on the map. Here. So remember when this sovereign country of Russia brought, here is Ukraine, border with Ukraine, brought its troop right here. Or if you want, this is even better. Right there. This is the border right there. This is Russia, this is Ukraine. They amassed here about 200,000 people on their territory, in their territory. The other, on their land, in their country, sovereign country, independent country. They said, oh my God, that threatens Ukraine by bringing your troops close to your border. Now, these Americans brought the military, the vessels, to Maduro's border, not on Venezuela's territorial waters, but they're not in the U.S. territorial waters. Remember? So the Russians on the Russian territory moved them away. The Americans next to Maduro in the international waters, it's okay, man. You have to fight the drug cartels, the bad dudes, right, kids? Yes. Got it? All this makes me vomit. But hey, why do they have a problem only with these guys and not with Mexico? I thought that fentanyl comes from Mexico from China. China via Mexico, Pac. Well, I'm going to show you who is in charge of Venezuela, the president of Venezuela. Ready? President of, no, Venezuela, Mexico. All right. Mexico. All right, then her name is Claudia Steinbaum. Sounds familiar to you? To me, sounds very familiar because she is a Zelensky Stein. She's Jewish. Claudia Steinbaum, she's the president-elect, like Zelensky was. Trump will not dare to do anything to this Latina. All right, there you go. There she is, my friends. There she is. She's the president right there. But hey, she's just from an Ashkenazi Jewish right here. Was a Papa Carlos, that's him. All right, he is like that, but she's just a whatever, man. An Padro from Sephardi, Paca. All right, his father, his mom, Steinbaum. She's just great, or at least someone over there is of a certain kind of Latina descent. Claudia. Got it? As excellency. So I would suspect that American government will never do anything to the Mexican government. Ever. And there's no cartels in Mexico, mind you. So you understand? When these guys are telling you that we're fighting the drug war on drugs, I want them seeing, I don't know, hitting some cartels in, let's say, I don't know, Ciudad de Mexico. I don't know, inside of Mexico. What is Mexico gonna do? Oh, attack us? We're gonna fuck them up, man. In the name of protecting us, no? No, never. And let me show you more than that. We're gonna go to this very important article, and you might find it very, very strange. But hey, it's connected. Ukrainska Pravda, this was, again, Tuesday the 2nd of September. Oil prices rise worldwide because of Ukrainian strikes on Russian refineries. Now, someone gave the order to strike Russian refineries. Now, if I am Zelensky and I tell some people I'm going to strike the Russian refineries and I give you 48 hours to invest, to sell and buy on the stock market, but I will not tell anybody else. Those guys will become millionaires. And then everybody gonna say, oh my God, these guys are so good with money. And the Wall Street, man. And you see the same guys over there being the wizard. No, they have the information probably given from, you know what I mean. They're everywhere. So in this case, Zelensky, if he had $1 million, probably if he puts the money in the right way, invests the money, he's just very good with money because they're very good. They have something extra that we don't have. That's what they have. So he strikes the Russians, the oil price jumps, and the investment you made a day before that and sell and buy, you're going to make a kill. And the same thing with Trump. That will affect the stock market with the oil striking that Venezuelan boat, or the boat coming from Venezuela. Why? Because a lot of smart guys are going to think, next is Venezuela. So what do you think is going to be next? The narrative I gave you, it's a movie that was played before to us by the same guys. But the baboons over there are too busy eating their fleas, okay? Their attention span is about 3 minutes, and after that, you can tell them whatever you want. That's why sometimes they, with the media operatives, keep the same narrative over and over. They repeat it for the baboons because they lose track. You have to condition them. Otherwise, they forget it. But this kind of narratives are never repeated to tell you, hey, they lied over there, they lied over there, they did the same thing with that, they did this. We are always attacked, and we are always for the good. And the government, always tell you the truth, is going to defend you and protect you, man, by taking your taxes and investing them, I don't know, in Ukraine, in Israel, whatever they want to do it. For you, for your safety. Makes me throw up. I think this is close to crime and treason. All right? Close to. That's what I think it is. I can't say 100%. I will say it on Rumble. All right? On YouTube. I don't know. I definitely fucking know. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Pay attention. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.